Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the SH Figuarts Dragon Ball Chalk Rider. And this guy is a character who is known for riding around on a giant piece of sidewalk chalk, and he generally just makes fun of the people who took that seriously and are mad now that I didn't call him TAO PAI. Really, this is a Dragon Ball character that was super important to the fiction of the series, and he just kind of disappeared after some things happened, which we might get a second figure of. But he's not a Dragon Ball Z character, so I'm guessing a lot of you don't know who this is and don't care about this figure, which is unfortunate because it is a pretty excellent release. There's kind of a lot to talk about, so let's go. I just realized how this could be deemed as an inappropriate image by YouTube's guidelines. Well, let's see. We'll see what happens. Anyway, let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands just about 5 3/4 inches, pretty close to that, probably more like 7/8, 5 7/8. That makes him pretty close to, let's say, 14.75 centimeters. So he's not the biggest figure in the world. We'll do a quick comparison with, here's a Goku. I use this even though it's from the wrong series, just because I know lots of people have Goku, so you have an idea of what the size would be. And then we will compare him to Kid Goku, except my Kid Goku is busy being in a display. So here's Krillin. They're about the same size because they're basically the same figure. And now you have an idea of what size he is. So you're welcome. Now, this guy, like I said, maybe not the most important character to some people, but he is a significant character in the franchise. And they dumped effort into this figure. They really did a good job, honestly. There are a few things that could be better, like there's no shading anywhere, and that's kind of a bummer, but at the same time, he is a nice matte finish. It looks so good when they're not shiny. It's so nice looking. And the paint that is on there, like all this red line work, mostly really clean. This is really well done. The black lines are clean. The gray on his outfit, very clean. The pink, the shoes, the lettering back here, very, very clean, very well done. Nicely sculpted, and we'll get to the other good stuff about it as we go. But as far as the aesthetics go, they nailed it. Yes, shading would have been nice, so it's not going to be a perfect rating, but otherwise, it's freaking good. So I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 for aesthetics. As for accessories, we have 3 different heads. We have the neutral head that comes on him in the package, we have one where he's sticking out his tongue, and then one where he's yelling, and they're all very nicely done, very nicely sculpted, and the applications on there are very clean as well. For the hands, we have 2 fist hands that come on him in the package, and then a couple different pieces, a couple different sets of pose hands for various poses and things. Nothing specific that you need to use them with. He does have an interchangeable skirt piece. I'm gonna use skirt piece whenever I can now because of all the people that got mad last time I said it. He's got an interchangeable skirt piece, one that hangs straight down and then one that flaps in the wind so that he can ride his chalk in style. And then the next accessory is his chalk, which is not a chalk, it's a giant pillar, but it looks like sidewalk chalk. Distinctly like sidewalk chalk. Now, the thing that makes this cool is what we're going to get to in a second. First, I want to talk about this display stand. It looks like it's a little bit yellow with this lighting. It'll depend on your lighting really and what kind of background you have. If you didn't have a solid gray background, this wouldn't look as bad. It's nice. It's nicely sculpted. I think they maybe went a bit overboard. It's kind of a big stand, but it's a pretty nice piece. Now for the chalk itself, it splits open so that you can pop out these little tabs that fill in the holes, and you can use those tabs for him to peg into with his feet. And his feet actually have interchangeable pieces that go on the bottom of them to have different shaped pegs so that they can fit in different parts of this, which is really over designed. Not in a bad way, it's nicely done. I like that they did that rather than having to use like an extra Tamashi stand to hold him up, so that's awesome. Like I said, they put a lot of effort into this. You got a lot of stuff in the package, even though it kind of seems like you didn't. He does also come with a Dragon Ball, and that's really the last accessory, which I didn't mention already. So, plenty of accessories for this guy. I think they did a really good job, especially with the chalk. I'm going to give the accessories a 9 out of 10. As for the articulation, the hair does have a ball hinge in the back, so you can raise it up and move it around and rotate it, and it's a useful... That's the way to do it. That's the best way to do it. You can't always do it because it's more expensive than just a standard pegging the hair into the head, but that's a good way to do it. The head is on a double ball peg. It's a very stiff double ball peg. It doesn't give you a ton of range, but it is nicer than a ball hinge. That would be even worse. This neck is also on a ball peg, though it again has very little range. You're not going to be doing the craziest stuff with this guy, but you should be able to get decent posing out of it. Like that's That's more than enough. That's really solid. That's good. For the shoulders, we have a butterfly joint where the pink part is all the way around, so there's no like dark blue poking through. That's pretty good. Then you have your standard ball hinge, which lets you raise the arms up better than horizontal. Full rotation, no issue other than it's at a little bit of an angle due to the sculpt of the vest, I guess you could call it, so that's okay. Bicep swivel is fine. Double jointed elbow gives you better than 90 degrees. That's good. For the wrists, little tiny ball hinge, pretty much your standard design. Not a ton of range there, but it'll be enough. And again, it's pretty much just how everything is nowadays, so that's okay. For the torso, we have a hinge and a ball peg, so that lifts up the body so that when you bring it forward, this doesn't rub, though mine is missing a little bit of paint and it came that way. That's a bummer. But if you lift it up, you get pretty good range, though a lot of gapping, so be aware of that. If you leave it down, you don't really get much range at all, just a little bit of forward and back. From the bottom part, the lower torso, it's technically a ball peg. I'll show you. There's a little ball peg right in here, but it doesn't really do much, so kind of ignore that. What this is for, so you can swap out his skirt pieces. So those just tab in there and then you put it back together. Good design. If I can see what I'm doing, it pegs right back in, no problem at all. For the hips, that's why I left these skirt pieces on. You can pretty much get full splits, and it's your standard Dragon Ball hips. You can bring the legs all the way forward. Technically, they go all the way back, but even with this skirt piece, they can't, so he's going to be somewhat limited based on his skirt being in the way, but that's okay. Thigh swivel is fine. Double jointed knee, let's use this leg. It's not the best we've ever seen in terms of aesthetics, but it's good enough, just better than 90 degrees. So definitely could be better there, but it's fine. And then for the ankles, it's a double ball peg, which is not my favorite because it creates a lot of gaps in this kind of application. But you get decent range going forward, not much going back, but it does rotate around and lean to the side enough that I think it's okay. And then you do get a toe hinge, which is not too bad. So all in all, not all of his articulation is great, but most of it is pretty solid and none of it is really bad. So I'll give the articulation probably, let's say 8 out of 10. It's still a really nice set of joints. So final verdict on this guy, there's not really much wrong with it, just a few things that could be better. So I'm gonna give him, I'm gonna say 9 out of 10. It's a really strong release. It's unfortunate that it's this character rather than somebody like Turles or Bardock or something like that where more people would be excited about it. But this guy is, or at least was, an important character, and he got a really nice figure, so I think that's a good thing. So yeah, 9 out of 10. Definitely pick it up if you were interested. If you weren't interested, it might be something you should look into. It's a pretty cool figure, pretty fun character. So there you go. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you did not enjoy this video, that's too bad. You already watched it, and you should probably subscribe because I have new videos up just about every single day and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that, and in the meantime, keep collecting.